All right, guys, we're back here for another unboxing, and this is one that I have not done on the channel yet. This is an iPad mini first generation, and as you can see, I'm sure by the thumbnail of the video, it should be running iOS 6. And if it's not, well then, I don't know what you're going to see in the thumbnail. But regardless, let's get this opened up and check it out. All right, here it is. This is the iPad mini. It is a first generation. Got some tape on my finger there. And it looks to be in okay condition. It's got quite a few scratches up there on the top, as you can tell. And what is this? Okay, that just comes off. The bottom looks pretty good. Maybe some scratches there. Sides look good. Display looks good. Let me get a cleaning cloth here and give that a wipe. Alright, the screen is in pretty good condition. There are just some really tiny scratches on there. Nothing major. So let's turn it on and see if we really have iOS 6 or not. Yes, we do. Look at that. That is a beautiful thing to see on an iPad mini. Because unlike the iPad 2, which this shares very many characteristics of, you can't downgrade this to iOS 6 without dual booting it, but we don't like to dual boot. All right, here we are. Yeah, no, I don't care. Go away. I don't want you. Let's see what version of iOS 6 we have. 6.1.3. That's a pretty common. I either get 6.1.3 or 6.0.1. But either way, on an iPad mini, that's pretty special. These are hard to come by. So a little history on this. The iPad mini, the first generation here, was released alongside the iPad 4 in late 2012. It came with the Lightning connector, as well as it was the first iPad to feature kind of stereo or surround sound speakers there, although they're so close together. You basically had to put this thing like up to your face before you could tell. But that was the beginning of that. And this was the first iPad to bring about the new, for the time, the new form factor, which was these very, at the time, these very thin bezels compared to the chin and forehead being much thicker. This iPad introduced Siri for the iPad mini, which was not included on the iPad 2. And the iPad mini had an upgraded camera, so it actually shared the same rear camera with either the iPad 3 or the iPad 4. I don't remember exactly which one, but it was a 5 megapixel camera, and it was a lot better than the iPad 2. However, it did have the same A5 dual-core processor clocked at 1 gigahertz, as well as 512 megabytes of RAM. So internally, it shared most of its features with the iPad second generation. I believe it had faster Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, maybe Bluetooth 4.0, which was an improvement. But for the most part, this thing was very similar to an iPad 2, just in a smaller form factor. And with improved cameras, better microphones that allowed for Siri. As we can see right here, we can turn Siri on. And yeah, this device sold really well. It was introduced at $329 here in the US, which made it cheaper than any iPad that had been sold up to this point. And a lot of people got this. And it shipped with iOS 6, and it would get updates to iOS 7, iOS 8, and iOS 9. And luckily for me, I was able to find one still on iOS 6 right here, because you can't downgrade these. Once you update, there's no going back. unlike its older sibling, the iPad 2, which can pretty easily be downgraded. This was also, as far as I'm aware, the only iPad to ship in the slate color, which only three devices, the iPad mini, iPhone 5, and the iPod Touch 5th generation shipped in this slate, like almost a black charcoal color, which looked very good at the time and I still think looks good today. So that's been a look at the iPad mini, first generation, on iOS 6.1.3. I hope you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for the next one. Oh, I almost forgot. Let's talk about these. Just real quick, this is a first gen iPod Touch running iOS 1. This is a 32 gigabyte model. iOS 1, I made a video about this that you can go watch. 1.1.5 on here. And then we've got the iPhone 5. This is a white 16 gigabyte iPhone 5 running iOS 6 natively. This was not downgraded, not dual booted. 6.1.2. So these two actually could be bought at the same time. You could get these together, which is pretty neat. So that's been it for today. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.